So happy to see you, Josselyne. It's been forever, and you've been such a monumental person in my life in so many things that I've been doing. So I'm honored to be on your show.
Well, I'm honored to have you, and I'm thrilled to hear that I made an impact on your life because that's my mission, right? Is to make an impact on people's lives. So it's always so nice to see people thriving from the tools that they got, using the tools in a way that really is building on your vision and fulfilling on your dreams, which makes me so happy.
You know.
So tell people though, because in my introduction, or your bio is sort of like, it sounds like I'm talking about six different people. So it's like,
It's a
how
good
did you
idea.
end up doing what you're doing, coming from where you came from? What was sort of like the path that got you where you are?
Okay, that's a big question. So I don't know where to start exactly, but are we talking about where I am right now comparing to where I started, right? Because it's such an extreme. It's almost like an
It
oxymoron,
is.
right?
It's
So I feel like
hugely extreme. Yeah.
right. And some people start with, okay, I want to make money and then I'm going to do my dream. And I pretty much always did my dream, which was, the performing arts, the creative path, whether it's starting from a dancing, from being a dancer to actress to producer, all along in between doing my modeling, which was kind of like on the background, but then became on the forefront. And I guess I changed location and that brought the change, or I'm not really sure what it is because I knew I'm going to change something because if I didn't go into fintech, I would actually go into interior design, which was my other
Huh.
passion. I have like maybe five more passions that I would pursue if I didn't have that. But it was, I guess, I don't want to say coincidental, but it came to me and I recognized it. So I started slowly because I pretty much never give a full time to anyone or anything. I said, okay, I can take a part time job. And 3 months later, it became like a full time job. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose myself into this amazing opportunity being a senior vice president of a fintech company coming from a creative realm or a path. And so I kind of put, as you taught me, I designed my way of how it can work for me. And when you design
Mm.
your terms and it's working because you know your value, you're not afraid. It's like it's amazing because I'm able to really juggle both companies. Like I'm a founder, CEO of my production company, and I'm also a senior vice president of this fintech company. And one is in Canada and one is in America, and I'm able to kind of merge them into something else that keeps me really creative by the programs that we create, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, and when I think about your background as, a model and an actress and now a producer, and that seems like a natural progression, right? To go from being in front of the camera to behind the camera. But IDF, counterintelligence, would tell me, how does that tie in? Because that was like my favorite part, other than like the fact that you're a countess, like that was like my other favorite part.
I know it's like a chameleon, but here's the thing: being a counterintelligence officer, it was part of my service in the military. So at the age of 18 to 20, you go to the army. It's mandatory in my country in Israel, and I was just it was in, okay. I'll share my age. I'm not afraid. It was at the time of the Iraqi war, and I was translating from Arabic and Hebrew, so I was sufficient in Arabic, which I'm not as much right now, but I was sufficient in Arabic, and it was a great position because it was basically introducing all the new material to the radio stations. So that's how I started with being an intelligence. But through the years, there's just a lot of comebacks from that, like on different levels, whether I was really involved or introduced to some high profile people in politics or just on the surface I was always doing like intelligence work, but that's really where it started. It's because I was in the army, in the IDF, counterintelligence officer, and that carried all over for other things. And the whole royalty was
Fascinating.
just I was married to a count. Okay, so that's, I'm not a countess, but was married to a count, so yes, makes me a countess if I don't marry again. But I performed to the King of Morocco, and I had a contract at Prince Albert for Monaco, a 6 month to be a resident in Monaco and perform there. And So there's a lot of like royalty stories, which is kind of funny and fun, but that's about it. There's not like it's not billions of
You
dollars
don't have
or
a
anything like
crown
that.
and a
Yeah, there's
palace
no
or
crown.
anything. Because if you did, I'd be visiting you there.
You should visit me anyway, but there's
Yeah,
no crown.
I think we'll talk about that for sure
Yes,
offline. And then what had you write the book? I'm just curious because that's such an interesting topic. I manage actors and actresses, and a sustainable career in any aspect of the entertainment business is so difficult to achieve. It's a rare thing. So what had you write that book, and what do you offer to young people coming up in the business that they could, hold on to really bring them through and have a sustainable career?
of course. So the book Anonymously Famous, which I'm in love with the name because it's such an oxymoron, but it's also, you can use it as anonymously famous or famously anonymous, because some people are anonymous and they want to be famous, and some people are famous and they actually want to be anonymous. But it really is talking to the 99% of population versus the 1% genetic freak of nature, I call it, because it is about the modeling business, but it's not about the fashion industry, which we all know what that takes. It's about the commercial print lifestyle modeling, which is a bigger chunk, and more about real people, real activity, real lifestyle, and real way of living, right? So I love inspiring people to be the best version of themselves at any given age. That's why I actually throw my age all the time out there, because I'm over 50, and it's like
I'm
whatever.
over 52. How old are you?
It's like, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I don't know when later I'm gonna.
57. 57. I'm 57.
Okay, so I'm a bit younger, but not much. What I'm saying is, once you pass 50, a lot of people don't want to say their age, and to me, it's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Especially because I'm advocating for that, for the fact that you should be a model of example at any given age. And when you go to the dictionary, what is a model? Is really a person that is like an example, right? Imitation of
Mm.
something you want to duplicate or imitate or look up to. And why should the grandma be the perfect grandma? Like we're looking at Iris Apfel that just past couple of like last year, or we're looking at Carmen de Office, one of my favorite models. They like in their Carmen is 91, and Iris Apfel that just died at the age of 101. So
So what had you turn it into a book?
Um, great question. And actually, I was struggling with it a long time, because for me, it was a treatment for a reality docu-series. I knew that I want to talk about the business of commercial print lifestyle modeling, which is all kinds of different, like fitting and commercial and print and animation and voiceover and um, impersonation and video games, and so many different compartments. Um, because I'm a SAG member, a union member, and I know that all of those things made me being able to survive the business and make ends meet. So I wanted to talk about every one of them, and it's not that I'm just saying it. I'm actually, each one of them I tasted. So I wanted to say the pros and cons. And in the docu-series, it would be taking two people going through the motions, but actually I'm not even going to elaborate, because it's still like
It could happen, so we don't want to give it
exactly,
away.
because it's intellectual property. What happened was COVID hit, and here I am in 2020, stuck with all this, manual that I wrote, and I didn't know how I'm going to continue, because I had talks with Bravo, and we've been very hot on it. But once COVID hit, I was not able to continue that, and I realized that if I don't close myself for 3-4 months to put it into a book, it'll never happen. And thank God I did, because it was either this or that, and I chose this, and it really worked, because I remember it was like February, March when it started, and by my birthday in June, I I got it on Amazon. It wasn't even edited properly, but it was on Amazon just to prove my point. And that's when I got back to New York. I said, okay, fine. So I have it. I've completed that dream. Now I'm going to just polish it. And yeah, so I put it as a book, and then I didn't think to do much with it. I had a publisher, but I didn't want them to promote it. I wanted still to keep my baby to kind of see what else I'm going to do with it. And just recently, I put it for audio. So now it's in all the channels for audio. And now I'm going for a podcast in the next in September. So I'm starting the podcast, and it's exciting because really I don't look at it as my book. I'm talking about me, not at all. It's a couple of the first chapter and the intro talks about my background because you want to know why you should even listen to me. But really, the majority of the book talks about interviews with business professionals, all kinds of different categories, giving advices. It's a guide. It's a very not biased, so it's like a pros and cons. And it's because I was a freelance. I mean, even though I had agencies, every agent through the years kind of like, okay, you have an agency, the booker's leaving, they're calling you, hey, come with us. I'm like, okay, I'd love to. So you go with them, but you still want to stay with the agency. So now it's two. And then another one. So it's like every agency that I had became two or three because of the, and
Mm.
before I knew it, I have like 20 agents, one in North Carolina, one in New York, one in Philadelphia, one in Chicago, one in so and before you know it, you have all those representations that for me worked. Again, if I was maybe 16 or 18 or 20 and coming to this business, I probably would want one big agency and that's it. But for the modeling, it worked because you can work in different states, different categories. Everybody has different clients. For acting is a bit different. You do want to have your one agent legit and sign and all that. So again, and there's no one recipe, there's many recipes to get to the same result or different results. For me it worked and I wanted to give that.
To share it. That's
Yeah,
great. And I know that that tied into, because the show is called Be Unmessable With. So I like to ask people, what's a situation where you were dealing with a really difficult circumstance, something that could have taken you out of the game, whatever game that is, or taken you down for the count, but you didn't go down for the count. You were able to somehow transcend the circumstances, because that's what being unmessable with it is. It isn't about being tough or not having things happen. But how did you do that and what was the situation?
it's crazy because when you asked me that I was like, no, I'm going to talk about this, and it always happens with you that I'm pretty prepared to talk about that, and then when you're asking again, I'm like, no way, I know what I'm going to talk to. It's a little bit more controversial, but I don't care. Actually, while I was doing my acting, and I had all kinds of different roles, some smaller, some bigger. I was Melania Trump impersonator at one point. I don't know even if you know it.
I didn't know that. That is news to me. Breaking news, everyone. Wow. I can see it though. I mean, you're a little bit more blonde now. Those of you that are just listening, you'll have to look at the show notes and the photo of this beautiful woman, but for sure I can get that. Okay.
No, it's crazy. I mean, it really. I know I'll be short about it, but just an opportunity that came. This guy from um, Vegas, John DiDomenico. He's doing a lot of Trump impersonation, and he asked me to fill in and just to kind of be the Melania lookalike. So I started again just before this 2016 election, and we did it. It went viral, and before I knew it, I had taken agent and started doing the Melania impersonation. The reason I'm bringing it up, and again, I do not want that to be the highlight. Please don't. I'm so passionate
It
about that.
won't be, but
No,
it's interesting. So maybe it'll be a little
no, it's
clip
very
that we'll
interesting.
promote with.
Right, it's very interesting. But what happened was, a lot of people judge me for that now as an actress. And remember,
Ah,
this is like 8 years ago. So I lost a lot of my agents just because I was doing the nice part of it, like the right side. I wasn't against. I was just actually just promoting her character, not being biased. So talking about being unmessable, that was a really big deal for me to choose sides, because at the end of the day, when we don't choose side, we are choosing side. You cannot stay parve or tofu or Switzerland forever. At one point, you're right or left. If you have an opinion, if you know anything, and if you care for anything. So if you're not right, you left, and vice versa. And I had to stand for my grounds and lose a lot. But in anything you choose, you're always going to lose 50% for sure, and maybe more. And yeah, so that was something I had to take by myself. And the second time was with COVID itself. I had to fight the system, and it's one of the things that made me say,
what do you mean you had to fight the system? What happened during COVID?
I knew you were going to get something out of me that I wasn't sure.
You said it.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I like it too much, and I feel too comfortable. Just again, there's two ways to look at it. I was not going with what I've been told, and I'm a rebel. Not maybe, I am a rebel. I do my way, and that's it. And in having said that, I'm so proud that I'm working right now for a big corporation, because even with them, they were telling me at the beginning to, hey, can you tame up your Instagram? You're doing a lot of
Mhm.
political things, and they're Canadian. They didn't want me to go and, with my,
Yeah, Canadian is the ever-present Switzerland. It's true.
correct. So I was like, okay, you first hire me as a spokesperson slash digital media marketing genius or whatever. Just okay. Then I became the senior vice president. But all along, you knew what you took. I'm not changing myself because I'm working with this big corporation and making a beautiful living. So it takes some balls, and I don't think years ago I would do that. Right now, I just
Mm.
feel like if I compromise my dignity, my beliefs, and my core values, then who am I? Why should I, talking about unmessable, yeah, I'm going to lose stuff. But I didn't like to see my son, for example, getting vaccinated because of his company, or other people doing things because of, and now we're finding the truth. So again, you might be on the other side, and that's fine. We all should really believe in what we believe. All I'm asking is, I always want to have the choice. And when the choice is taken away from me, I rebel. And again,
And
that,
that sounds like, if I had to look at both the situations you talked about, if you looked at what did you draw upon to rise above the circumstances, I'd rather have you answer it than me answer what I hear. But what do you think it is that you were able to tap into that had you emerge from those circumstances, no matter what you lost or gained or whatever, but that you were able to stay true to who you are in those
um,
circumstances, which is what unmessable with is. It's being true to who you are and your vision. So what did you tap into?
um, look, I have to go back just to say that it wasn't easy for me. I can tell you that the last 2 years before I moved to New York, to Miami, I was literally unemployed. Let's face it. I was unemployed, but I was busy with my book and doing my thing and looking for projects for acting. And what I learned from it is that no one's going to give me anything. I have to make my own project, whether it's in acting. I don't wait for an agent to give me a role. If I want a role, I'm going to look for the producers and the directors, see what they're working on, and see what I can bring to the table. Whether it's, I'll bring some money, or I'll bring my talent, or I'll bring, the equity,
Your following, whatever it is. Yeah.
there's so many things to bring. And but I will create the project, or maybe I'll write the project, or I'll definitely nurture the project to show my value, versus wait for someone to give me a role, or to give me like a couple of lines somewhere, or give me a 2 days work as an actress. So I feel that I always like to take matters to my own hands and be in the, driver's seats versus the passenger seat. And there was a lot of loss, I'm not going to lie, and that's what made me move to Miami. Because why am I in New York? Yes, why am I in New York if the majority of the work is not there? Even just as far as the film industry and the commercial life, it's everyone left New York. So I was paying prime real estate, and I'm traveling to auditions, or traveling to meet people, and it didn't really make sense. So to sum it up, I think once you believe in your core, it will fall, like, the truth will follow you. There's no other way. I mean, if you fake it for to please someone, you're always going to have to look at yourself after. And if at the end of the day you
Yeah.
look at the mirror and you're lying, I'll give you a perfect example. And again, I'm going to politics, but I
That's
can't help
okay. Listen, I
I
have
can't
nothing going on about it. So,
I
and
can't help
whoever's listening will have whatever they have going on, but that's what politics are. That's
it.
what it is.
And I can't help it, because to be honest, if I wasn't in the fintech right now, and my production and wasn't so busy, I would probably be one of my things. I told you the things I would still want to do. I would be an activist, or I would be definitely more into politics, especially for my country. So I would say that
Yeah, and I
that's
do
not
want to
how
touch upon that after you tell me what you're going to tell me. I do want to touch upon the war and what's happening and where you
yes,
are about it. But yes,
yes. Um. So, wait.
but you were saying,
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes. So when the Republican left the office, I'll say it like that. I was offered a position in, one of the big, I'm not going to mention the name, one of the big shows in LA, to be the Melania
Hmm.
Trump, to be the correspondent for that, and basically to do the voices and the looks more than anything. And it was a very lucrative contract, and I said no, because I knew that now it's going against what I believe. It's not just the position or the contract; it's how will I look how will I look at myself at the end of the day when I'm really going against my values just to make a living. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think
that
that's
was
really
really,
brilliant what you said, though, that even if other people don't know it's a violation of your values, you do. And you have to sleep with yourself, you do. And no matter who else you're with, if anybody, you still have to sleep with yourself. And you have to be able to wake up in the morning knowing that you were true to something and not
correct.
just the almighty dollar, so to speak.
Correct. Yeah. No, I maybe that is the artist side in me. I never really followed the money. Like it was never. Money is very important. Don't get me wrong, but I never cared for to make money um, my drive. And my philosophy is that money is the gas in the car. Where we're going is more important. Like the journey, right? So, like, yes, the car has gas. Great, we can go somewhere. But where? What do we? Even when I meet someone, if it's like a matter of relationship, the fact that money needs to be there, of course, it's we're living in a 2024. We know how much the cost of living is, but it cannot be the thing. It's actually the background. It's just the gas in the car, and you have to ask yourself, where are we going, and are we both want to go the same place? It's the same with business. It's the same with partnership, and it's really important to me. And that's why, like, if it doesn't go like that, I say I have another motto, another quote that I use a lot in my philosophy is that I rather ride my bicycle than your Mercedes. Meaning, whatever I can afford for myself and be at peace, great. If I have to compromise myself to please you or to be more up in the open in the jet and the schmetz and the boats, I don't care for that. It just doesn't
Yeah.
even resonate with me.
Yeah, I definitely hear a very strong stand. And you can only have a strong stand, like you're articulating, if you're super clear about who you are. And most people are not clear about who they are. And that's one of the things that really works about you is you're clear and unapologetic about who you are. So it just works. It's like being bold and unapologetic, but you're not like out to do anything bad to anybody. It's like you are who you are, and that's it.
Yeah, actually, I want to inspire because I was not like that, and actually, you from all people would know it. I think I did the landmark like three times in my life, at three different timing in my you know short life.
I know.
And
Well, it's over a
yeah,
decade ago that you and I
no, I
worked together.
know.
It's a long time ago. I mean, it's
Yes,
wonderful though to see what you're doing.
thank you, thank you. But you gave me the tools. You really gave me the tools. I use it all the time, like being unmessable, like say what you do what you say. I mean, being on time, kind of. Yeah, no, being on time. That's yes.
Well, having power with your word, having power with your word is the
Correct,
main thing.
correct, correct. And I don't care if it changed, if something changed, but you always we have to change it occurring. So in order to know that what it is. So if you're saying something, I want to make sure that you that's the last thing I rely on, and it yeah.
I
So
love it. I
I
love
use
it.
it, and I use it with the company right now that I work with because like I have a lot of people that I actually under me. I mean, 8 to 12 people that I'm managing, and it's nice because I see that I inspire them. I get results. I'm a doer. I love to get results. It's all about progress, and sometimes I'm tough, especially with the Canadians. I'm definitely tough because I just don't
Yeah, well,
have
that
the
occurs
emotions.
as tougher for them because they're not, I mean, not that they're not strong, but they're not
Yes,
harsh. And I know that's one of the things that we talked about being harsh can occur that way in Canada. When I used to lead the advanced course or the form in Canada, I had to be careful about that. I had to be responsible for it.
I know. I know. It's very hard. It's almost like I have to give so many compliments before I can actually enter with my needs. And I'm like, no, let's just do that. And like, by the way, you are really great at such and such. But that's a minor. To me, it's given. You're great because you obviously you're great. If not, you would be fired already.
That's
So
right. You have a job. That's the
yes.
indicator. Yes.
So
I know I was never for the fluffing, it's
I,
like I'm not a good fluffer.
it's exactly yeah. But that's also maybe because I'm Israeli because we are like just blunt and we saying it to the face and that's just a way to get results and progress. It's not. I would call it encouraging criticism very versus discouraging. It's really I would love to hear like my faults. I don't want someone to tell me how wonderful I am all the time. I mean sometimes, but not all the time. Most of the time I would like to know what I'm not good at. So I
Yeah,
can
I have a feedback model I could offer you with your team that
okay.
has worked. I used to work with my nonprofit. We did this with nonprofits around the world and leaders. And instead of, like criticism or advice or whatever, if you call it feedback and you offer them in this structure, please reduce this, retain this, whatever it is, increase this, or eliminate this. So it's four things: reduce, retain, increase, or eliminate. And that way, people don't feel like it's a criticism of them. You're talking about the performance.
Yeah, I mean, you said it more better than anybody, of course, but absolutely. I always say that it's about the performance. I even sometimes, if I would call a name to someone by mistake, or let's say I would say, "Oh, this is stupid," I would say, "This is stupid. You're not stupid. This is stupid." Sorry to use that word, but I'm
No,
the same
I,
way.
I
I
get it.
always
But people
like,
hear it like it's them.
correct, correct. Did you call me stupid? No, I didn't call you stupid. I actually told you that what was going on here is it's a situation. The choices are that's all.
I'm sure that went well. Talk to me about the war, though. I mean, this is just like going. I mean, it's
Oh my
so disturbing, and I can't imagine what it's like for you being from Israel. I mean, I have so many colleagues and friends there, and how are you dealing with it? How are you being unmessable with in the face of that circumstance, which is,
God. Well, thank God I'm busy with my stuff here because first of all, I would not be able to be here so long. I go periodically to Israel. I was there actually on October 7th, um, and I kind of feel guilty because I left the morning after. There was the last flight. We were clapping on the way up versus on the way down. It was the last flight
yeah,
because I'm flying to Canada. Um, it's horrible. It's horrible that what happened is beyond horrible.
there's
What's
nothing. Yeah,
really
there's no
mind
words.
blowing to me is the after effect. See, because traumas happen in life, and again, back to what I learned from you, it's what we do with it, the stories we tell ourselves. And right now in society, that we don't even know right and wrong. We don't even know the basic of things. Like we are fighting for to be right versus to be smart or to be accurate about the values, the core values. I mean, aren't we all for life, for productivity, for health, for tradition, for family, for all those values that are lost in society, and people are fighting to get someone down just because of a name versus really what is coming to them from uh, from the result, like the consequences of the things. So it's not even a smart fight. It's
Yeah,
basically a power game. It's a power game, and Israel is in between. What's really most important for me, for people to take, is the fact that we are just a facilitator to the rest of the world. We are fighting the fight for everybody else. We are being our soldiers are being killed every day for the rest of the world. This is all about faith, about Islamophobia, basically about the fact that the Western society is not good for the Muslims. It's not good for not for all the Muslims, but for anyone who believes in terrorism regime. And again, I can go on and on. I just don't want to be so. I don't want to focus on that because I can be harsh with my
right.
opinions. Um, I'm appalled. Okay. Let's go to something else. Being unmessable. Do you know how many friends I had to let go? Like friends of mine for 30 years, I had to let go because of the politics. And it's not even the politics
Yeah,
because of their opinions. I'm like, I had friends that uh, the whole family are Harvard graduated. I mean, my son was supposed to go to an Ivy League school, like for his masters and stuff, and I'm like, just don't, like, don't. It's not even the same. So, to the point that yes, politics should not get in between, but if they think that what happened in the campuses is fine, how can I be their friend after 30 years? I'm Israeli. I'm Jewish. We know what the Holocaust was all about. I mean, Germany is our best allies right now. It took 80 years, I guess, four generations, right? Or I mean, 80 years.
yeah.
So how long will it take, to repair this one? And the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, we're not multiplying by the minute. They are. We're not. With this is another subject, right? With all the
No,
abortion,
but this is something
fertility,
real in life
everything.
that is,
Correct. I mean, if
and
you're right,
politics do mess with people.
right,
I can't tell you how many of my clients have eliminated people in their life, like you're saying, because they can't, they have different opinions. And this is something I coach them in, that they don't have to have the same opinion. You don't have to have the same view to be able to have that person in your life. One of my best friends has a completely opposite political view of me. And I don't talk about my politics that much, but I love politics. I'm obsessed with politics. I'm constantly watching the news, all different channels to get every different angle. And at one
and that's
point,
really good. Yeah, it's good to watch both channels, and I do that all the time as well. I still can
you
have my
have
opinion,
to.
but it's good to, because if and that's where it really bothers me, when I send them something from this side, they don't even want to hear it. So that basically everyone drinking their own Kool-Aid. So what's the point of
That's
me
the
saying,
problem.
"Yeah, this is right, this is right, this is right," but I know it's right. I want
But
you
it's
to see
no
it's right.
different than if you're being right about someone in your life, like your mother-in-law or about your ex-husband or whatever. It's like, if you're going to be right, it's going to cost you being at peace. That's a given. So peace is costly. It costs you your dedication to your opinion, like your righteousness. And I think it's worth it, though, because war is very costly too, as we've all seen.
Right. And also
Yeah.
because, I mean, we're at the time that, how can you not be political? I mean, we're like the kids and they're the parents, and whatever they decide, we're gonna have to live up to. So in 3 months, this is what we're gonna look like or not look like. And if you don't want to talk politics, then I don't even know what's your purpose in life, because that's like it's like not wanting to. I don't know.
Well, it's
It's like
like ignorance is bliss. I mean, some people don't want to talk about money. They're like, I don't want to know. I don't, and they don't know how much money they have, how much money they owe. So any place where you don't dive in, sometimes it's because there's some threat, like the opposite opinion or something, that you don't agree with occurs as a threat to your own identity. If you are solid within who you are, you don't have to be threatened by the opposite opinion. It's like, okay, they have a different view.
Jocelyn.
But in any case, when you talk to somebody and they have a different view from you, if you can't allow somebody to have a different view because it threatens your view, then your view is shaky to begin with.
Wow. Wow.
Like, if you're clear about your view, you don't mind if somebody has a different view. It's okay. Like, I have a different view of the screen than you do. It's not a problem. We don't have to have the same view. I didn't see the frozenness when we froze. You did, right? When the tech, but that doesn't mean I have to be threatened. So I try and do that because I was saying, my best friend has very strong political views, not like mine. And I love my best friend. And, she's 89 years old. So I don't want to waste 1 minute of my relationship with her being right. So I just allow her to have her view, and I don't really add anything to it. I don't engage with it. I don't argue about it because she's not going to change her view and I don't need her to, you know?
Yeah, but Jocelyn, some people, they're harmless. It's okay. That's their view. Different. It's fine. No big deal. But some people are really active on the other side, and I'm like, how can
Yes.
you be active? You're not static. It's like harming my country or harming this
Tough
situation,
one. It's
or
a tough one.
so it's not something you can just be like, oh yeah, you hold your opinion, I hold mine. I'm really open minded. By the way, if you have something to tell me from the other side that makes sense, please enlighten me, dare to inspire me so I can change my mind. I am like the most open minded about that. But if you don't and you agree with it, like I said, let's say I'll be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you agree? You said yes. So I was like, so why would you still do that if you agree to this? Is it just like you're on autopilot? And those people, if you're on autopilot, I don't really want to be spending time with you, because I just feel like you're not smart enough for me, unless you're going to do
Well,
something
it's valid.
different.
Unless that
That's
person is your someone in your family, and then you
thank
you
God,
kind
yeah.
of have to deal with it.
Thank God my
That
family is on the same opinions.
th-
Yeah,
then you got to find a way to make it all
yeah.
work.
No, but it's more like in business. I have people that I really look up to
Yeah.
in business, and I'm like, for years, and I send them some stuff, and I'm like, listen, you don't have to agree. Just watch it for me. If you like me, if you care for me, if you respect me the way you say you are, just watch it. I mean, just watch it. That's all I'm asking, and let's talk about it. They would all stop sending me that, please, Mira. It's not nice. What's not nice? To enlighten you? Send me your stuff too. I'll be very happy to watch.
Yeah, I think maybe that's where to start is send me your stuff. Let
Correct.
me
I mean,
see
Tucker,
what you're
Tucker
thinking of.
Carlson just right. Tucker Carlson just did an interview with Trump, right? And the next thing I hear, he invited Kamala. First, I was like, "Oh wow, that's not nice" in my mind, like my first reaction, and then I'm like, "That is beautiful. That's amazing. Let's see if she's gonna take a bite." So it's like, why not? Why one has to be biased, especially if you're in the media? You should
Yeah,
my
no, the
language.
media, I agree with you. I think that's a responsibility as
Correct, but the
somebody in
same
the media,
goes.
and you're in the media, and it's a responsibility to not, have your view color everything to the point of, obscuring what there is
Correct.
to see. I remember, just about Israel, when I first was asked to lead the advanced course in Israel. This is like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. I got the phone call and she said, "Would you like to go to Israel to lead the advanced course?" I was like, "Absolutely not. There's like bombs there. It's scary," because all I saw was what I saw on TV. That's
Correct.
all I knew about Israel. And then I
Correct.
got off the phone and my assistant said to me, "What was that?" Because I was like reacting, like, "What are you, crazy? I'm not going to Israel." And my assistant said, "What was that?" And I said, "Well, they wanted me to go lead the advanced course in Israel." And she goes, "Okay, so let me get this straight. Your vision for the world is peace on the planet, and you don't want to go to the Middle East and lead the advanced course, which you say is the vehicle to peace on the planet." I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
you're right. Okay." And I called back. I said, "No, no, no, I'll go, I'll go, I'll go." But, people have an immediate lens or
Right.
reaction based on their view or opinion or whatever beliefs based on the media and all of that. And when I got to Israel, it was the most profound experience that I've had. I first of all fell in love with the people because the people are ridiculously loving. I think I had 5 marriage proposals and I was married. But,
But
it was
you know what you're getting, so it's not. I mean, you like or you don't like, but you know what you're getting. There's no
oh,
surprises. They're
I
good.
love it. And also just the spiritual aspect of it. And I don't consider myself super religious, but I was my birth mother. My birth family was Jewish, and I was raised Jewish, but I'm not like religious. But when
Okay.
I got there, something about being near the Wailing Wall impacted me. And I didn't even know I was coming up upon it, but I just had this overwhelming sense of emotion. I just started weeping. And then I got to the Wailing. I'll start to cry right now. And I thought to myself, that you can't, this is not a function of opinion or a viewpoint. This is an experience that you
Correct.
can't deny. There's something so magical and profound about that place in the world. And I was never the same after that.
Wow, that is so empowering. I'm very happy to hear this story. I didn't even know it.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
your
it's
country.
yeah, it's very, very special, and it's special because it's actually very integrated, which is the absurd of everything that's going on. Even what happened in October 7th. If you think of it, the majority of the people that were affected by that and actually been killed are the one that was so pro. The Arabs, they were like the one that actually did the kibbutzim, all the one that always like been
They're right
strict.
there on the border,
Correct.
It's,
It's like your best friend is actually stabbing you. So like, why would you even have to look for enemies? It's
yeah.
been
Well, that's war
I-
makes no sense to rational people, but there'll be a
war.
justification.
Yeah, but war only makes sense because it's again, this is follow the money. I mean, anything to do with war,
Yes,
anything to
you're
do with the
absolutely.
health industry, and the war, it's all about the money making. I mean, you can see, and the media. I mean, these are three subjects that, if you look who controls it, like the media is three companies controlling the media, right? The health industry is the same thing. It's just basically, um, it's where the money is. It's not where
Yeah.
we know there's cure for cancer. We know there was a cure for COVID
No,
before it even happened, but they're not going to allow it to us. So it's a
no,
matter
war
of
is profitable. War is profitable. And
correct,
until it isn't, we're going to have war.
correct. And I mean, the leaders of Hamas, they're not sitting in Gaza. They're sitting in Qatar, Dubai, Saudis. I mean, they're
Where
not
the
there.
money, follow the money.
Correct. So that's why we have
Yeah.
war, not because poor people want to get justice. It's just sad. It's sad that it happened, and again, I will just close it with the fact that I don't think it would happen in a different presidency. It wouldn't. But look, four different wars in 4 years. I mean, come on. Really? Ukraine should have happened too? Ukraine wouldn't happen. Afghanistan, we all forgot about that, but that wouldn't have happened. I mean, we got
War is
rid
a
of
tough one. I
dictators.
think if we could make peace profitable, we'd have
Right.
peace.
Correct.
That
Correct.
would be the game I'd be in. But tell me what's next for you.
What next for me? I have to. I mean, I keep. Maybe I need coaching on that because I keep postponing it for many different reasons. I need to get on my podcast myself. I mean, this book is
What's in the way? What's stopping you?
timing and and more research, and also because I guess commitment. It's a big commitment. You know, it's a big commitment, and I need to start going back to my traveling in September. So I don't like to start something without ending. I'm more like a project person that I start something, I want A to Z, and I know what it takes, and I want to start recording it. And I'm excited. I'm very excited about it because the concept of it is tremendous, and I will be able to involve a lot of people in the community, different communities actually. I'm looking forward to interviews the DJs of the world that are anonymously famous, and the chefs of the world, and the the makeup artists, and the not just modeling and acting, but everyone who is in their field anonymously famous, that are basically not a household name, but with a lot of wealth of um, work and credits to their name. So
So
it's
I don't buy the timing. I think that's baloney that's stopping you. You just aren't scheduling it. You don't have to start releasing it.
right.
You can start recording it and get a bank of episodes. That's what I did when I started the podcast. I recorded 30 episodes before I released the first one. So
Right.
you could spend the
No,
next
I
three
know, but
months recording episodes whenever you can and then
right.
come up with a release plan. But you can
Yeah, no,
schedule a
that's what.
45-minute podcast interview every week.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, that's the plan for September. So September or November, September, October, November. That's the plan, and hopefully before the end of the year, we'll start the first one. So that is my plan as far as the podcast.
Okay.
As far as True Universe, which is the fintech company, I'm super excited. We're doing tremendous things together. A lot of different programs, which we haven't got a chance to talk about. I was mentioning before that I was so excited to be able to merge the two, like the creative part with the
Yeah. How did you do that?
I guess I brought it to first. Okay, so I started with digital media and marketing. That's easy. I do it when I sleep. Okay, fine. But then I started opening more accounts, so just introducing my social circles and accounts, and was able to bring that payment platform, because what is True Universe known for is basically payment solutions. So we create those debit, credit card, and loyalty programs that the business to business can actually pay the employee on those cards. And it's incredible
Oh,
because we've been
cool.
40 years in the, yeah, 40 years in the business, and everything is customized. And on top of that, we have Visa and Discover to support all of it. So we are basically an issuer, and it's amazing, but it's still dry to the creative me. And I figured, how do I bring my stuff into the mix so it's more exciting? And we find a way, one, to create a card for anonymously famous to pay all those artists and freelancers on the card. So that's sick, because that brought the app, that brought the app on the Apple Store, that brought the cards itself, and now basically to manifest it to with different companies like Forbes, like Live Nations. I mean, there's different ones that we're in talks with, but that's one area. The other thing is the film and making stories, making more movies from combining the, I don't know, blah blah blah. I'm so sorry, can you tell him to cut it? I got lost,
Yeah,
please.
absolutely. No problem. But why don't you tell us
And
about the film you're
also it's too
doing?
much information. I think it's let me keep it more vague because they're gonna kill me. I'm revealing way too
No,
much
no,
information.
no, not at all. I'll just tell her to cut there. No problem.
Thank you,
So
thank you.
I'll just bring you
I
into it.
trust
Well,
you.
tell us about the film that you worked on.
So the film,
What's it about?
so I was excited to take the film Arugan Bay, which is an Israeli project, that we shot in Israel and in Sri Lanka. It was really exciting to me to work with those big stars, Israeli, and the director that I knew for so many years on a project that was his passion project about surfing, and about Israeli soldiers that dealing with PTSD, which is really what every Israeli, um, ha- every second Israeli has, for because we are it's mandatory to serve the military, and because they're just part of the culture. We have a lot of wars. I mean, we young country, and every
Mm.
individual or family will be suffering from that one way or another. So it's kind of given that anyone who finished the army take a trip to the Far East, or you know South America, or anywhere in the world, to just escape for a year or two, and they do their thing. And a lot of it is a lot of people surf, and Sri Lanka is a major attraction to, like, it's a tropical island, and it's a major attraction for surfers. Arugan Bay is 10 hours away from Colombo, where the airport is. You can imagine going from Colombo to Arugan Bay 10 hours in the best luxurious car you can find. It's still going to be a horse and buggy. So it was
Yeah.
crazy because when we went there, on top of it, it was, and I think it's still suffering from. It's a country under bankruptcy, so there's no gas. You can't even find, like, the tuk tuk. You can't find those people so easily because they don't have gas to fill up their uh,
Mm.
bikes. When you buy lunch, you don't know if the fish was in the refrigerator or he hasn't, or it wasn't, because it's 6 hours of uh, no electricity in the middle of the day. So you don't really know which 6 hours it is. So there was really hard conditions, to say that. But I was there for a month. It was amazing experience. The Sri Lankan people are the nicest. I mean, they're very simple people, loving, happy, and it's crazy. But that to see that they're so appreciative of life when they have nothing. I mean, literally, you can come with
Mm.
$10 and say, "Hey, can I buy?" There's nothing to buy. You don't have what to buy, so you look at your money. It's a piece of paper because there's nothing to buy. Um, it was beautiful to work on the film there. It's actually um, it was supposed to be okay. It was supposed to open last year, but obviously because of the war, we couldn't open. So we are still holding off to the distribution of all the theaters in Israel, which we have that in place, but we're not opening yet. However, we are just doing some screenings worldwide. And again, it was a bit unfortunate, I'm not going to lie, that we were able to go more into Jewish film festivals versus the big festivals. And some conversations that I had with the, you know, major film festivals were, we can't help you because it's bought by the Saudis, and that's the
Yeah.
majority of the money, and they're just not going to screen it, so don't even bother. And this is like from the head of, I don't want to say the festival, but
Yeah. No, no, no.
it's just crazy. So
Well,
you
you
know,
seem to be have the wherewithal to transcend whatever difficult circumstances come at you, whether it was your upbringing or how you ended up creating yourself. You emerge unmessable with. So I'm so proud of you. I know that sounds kind of weird and condescending, but I'm really proud of you for what you've taken, the tools that you got through your life, and actually, what you're building and what you're creating and the difference you're making for people.
thank you so much. I really hope to inspire people to be strong and tough and be the best version of themselves at any given age, and really only because my journey was really bumpy. So I can't say that it was easy. Nothing was given to me. I'm, still single. I had two marriages. My family is in Israel. It's not like someone can come here and say, no, 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 no. But it's because of. There's nothing because of. It's just every moment was, an intersection. And when you make the right choices, and when you stay true to yourself, and you keep yourself clean, that's another thing. It's really important to be clean. Be on the healthy side of life, not do some things that are unreversible. That's really, I think, what saved me.
Beautiful. Those are perfect, perfect last words to everybody. And do you have any last words that you want to tell people that are listening? Any advice or anything that you want to offer them as we complete the interview?
Um, just not be afraid to do what you love to do. And even if it means to juggle, I would want to say that something else that worked for me in life, and I would want to implement it for anyone I would want to coach or inspire, is it's okay to have two things at once, or more than two, but definitely two, meaning have your main thing that keeps you safe and makes you can make a living off. But definitely, if you're not crazy about it, have another thing on the side and nurture it. So by the time you're ready to move on, you're ready to jump on it. It's almost like a trampoline. And it's so important because I see people that still have a job they don't love, or vice versa, that do what they love but they can make a living. And that's kind of like you got to do both. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
never going to be a real success.
Very, very good advice. I like to always tell people to have parallel pathways.
Yes.
Don't get stuck in any one pathway because, there's lots of roads to Rome, or to Paris, as I would say. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here, and I'll make sure to put all the links of all your different ventures and where people can find you and your Instagram and all of that. And thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Jocelyn. It was a pleasure, and I really, really look up to you for all of your doings and everything that you contributed in my life in the past, from all your advices and your coaching, masterful coaching. So thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, and we'll see everybody, or hear, or you'll listen to us or see us on the next episode of Be Unmessable with the podcast. I just want to thank you for spending time with us today on this episode of Be Unmessable with the podcast. And I never take for granted that you chose to spend however much time you did listening and engaging with us. So I want to make sure that you have a free gift from me if you are someone who wants more peace in your life and who couldn't use more peace in your life. So if you just click the link in the show notes, you will be able to download a free copy of my book, Peace Promises. It's a 30-day program to a more peaceful life. And I promise you that if you engage with the material, you will produce more peace in those areas of life that really matter to you. So download it now and let me know what you discover out of engaging with the material.